relaxation, for fun. So stick around, leave whenever you want, but I hope you stay. I just want to do a little free ramble about my night tonight. Yeah, boy, it's a little bit tipsy. I had a very fun night tonight, and I want to tell you all about it. So, let me set the scene for you. It is Thursday, December 15th, I think. It is currently, I think, 10 p.m. as I talk to you. And it's winter, but we're living in Los Angeles, California, United States of America. So, I went out tonight, and it was kind of a little chilly. We were wearing a jacket. And I went to kind of hang out with some new people I've never hung out with. I went to a comedy show. A comedy show. I'm gonna butcher this, but it's UCSB. You know the one. United Citizens Parade, so USBC, I think. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Correct me in the comments if you care. But I switched a work shift. I work in coffee. If you are new here, I'm a barista. I'm your local barista. Think about your local boutique coffee joint that's not like Starbucks, but more like, think about like any bougie coffee place. I worked there, and I'd be your barista. You'd be like, oh my god, Nick, and I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Neighbors, lovers out there, you get it? Yeah. I was gonna have a closing shift today, so that was gonna be from 1:30 to 6:30, and the show was at 7. Thankfully, I had a friend switch it, so I had a 8:30 to 4:30 shift today, which was great. So I did that, and I don't know about you, but let me get a little ramble, and then I get into the comedy. But recently, your boy has been feeling a little bit moody and a little bit really bored. I had 2 days off from work, and I stayed home and I watched TV. I watched a couple things. I watched the entire Divergent series, which is the video's out now. You can check it out on this channel. I talk about the series. I also talk about why there wasn't another movie, which is wild. But I got bored. When your boy gets bored, he gets a little sad. I don't know, that's like you too. I sometimes, think, am I doing something wrong because I'm bored? And what I'm learning is we're all meant to be bored eventually. So, just stop distracting yourself, let yourself be bored, because you're probably running from something. And honestly, you get your best rest when you're bored. But anyways, I digress. So, I was excited for work. I had a really good work day. And your boy got off early so that he could make this show, because I live in the west side of LA, and this was in Hollywood. And if you don't live in LA, LA is huge, holy moly. It takes around 30 or 45 minutes to travel, and let alone not during rush hour. And I didn't put that in the count, so guess how long it took me today to get to Hollywood. It took me an hour. Literally no joke. It took me an entire hour to travel from my home to this show, which is fine, but I left so late. I left at 6:30 and the show is at 7. So I was gonna get there at 7:30. But then guess what happened? Your boy put in UCSB or whatever, So I'm like, oh my god, my friend saved me a seat. And he had some new friends that I was gonna meet. So I get in my car. I text him, I go, bitch, you will have no idea. He was like, bitch, I went to the wrong address. And he was like, oh my god. And so then I drove up. I think he lives like 15 minutes away. I got there at 7:45. I'm like, hey guys, I'm so late. And they're like, okay, we can let you in, but you have to come in during intermission. So I'm at the show. Mind you, I was literally going to, just like maybe go home a little bit. Like, 'cause it's like, I was like, oh my god, I'm 45 minutes late and there's 15 minutes left, and like, what's the point of going? But your boy was like, I'm dressed, I smell nice, I put cologne on, smell. And I was like, I'm just gonna go, I might say hi to them after. So I go, and I get there, they let me in. Guess what? So there's 2 shows, each show is 30 minutes. I was gonna go see a comedy show because there's a mutual friend that my friend who invited me to go. The show is someone that we both know. He knows him because he hooked up with him, and then they became friends. Which is funny, because I'll tell you in a sec, because they had the 2 comedians, which is the person we know, had a sketch about how gay people become friends, and one of the ways they become friends is they're like, oh, the sketch is like, why are we not friends? Like, how did we even become friends? And it's literally then they cut to them like having sex, sex. So that's how he met him. So I thought that was hysterical that was in it, but I'm getting at myself. How I know him already. Get this. This is wild, and I wish I had this channel. I can do a story time. Maybe I can. If you really want to, let me know. I can dig back into my memories, but I know this guy because we did. Do you know the reality show Survivor? If you don't know, it's a reality show, been on since the 2000s. We did a Survivor drinking game together. So the comedian I was seeing, we played in this game, which I'll give you a little thing. This Survivor drinking game is something you have to apply to. They select only like 17 people, and then what happens is the host, he rents an Airbnb. You all meet up, you're strangers, and you basically play Survivor. You have challenges, but you have to drink while you're doing it. You have voting, you have everything that the show has. You have some interrogations, some videos, and so him and I played against each other. That's how we met. And this bitch had the audacity, and I was telling him tonight because I saw him after the show, but I was like, I don't know if you remember, but I told him this, I was like, you don't remember, I don't know if you remember, but his ass tried to vote me out. Your boy, Nick, me, you know how I do. I'm under the radar, we smart, so I knew I love Survivor, so I was like, I'm gonna play it as Sandra. I don't know if any of you guys know who Sandra is. She is the only person that's won like twice or 3 times, twice in Survivor. She's this like Hispanic woman, she's like in their 50s, and she is baller. She is so sly, but what she always does, this was her thing, is she always says, as long as it's not me, I don't care. So she's like, as long as you're not voting for me, I don't care. So she had no loyalties, and that's how I played. But this bitch, literally the comedian, I was like, we are a tribal, which is like, if you don't watch the river, it's like where you all vote for each other and you can all speak. He tried to throw me under the bus. He was like, everyone, you should vote Nick because he's under the rug and he's like gonna win the game and everything. And did I do that? I think I did. Well, yeah, that's how I remember it. And oh, he said like, yeah, he was like, I'm ruined. Yes, he did say that. He was like, Nick is going to be winning the game, and I was like, you ho, like, I was under the radar. And so I voted his ass out, and I put a little frowny face on his name. Long story short, I got out of Survivor because of rocks, a few, but I was like, there's only 7 of us left 20, so I was doing really well. It was after the merge, but anyways, I haven't seen him since, and that was like 2 years ago. I get to this show, and you know what? It's 7:45. The first show is not him, and they were just wrapping up. So guess what? Your boy got there at 7:45, and he made it right in time for the comedian's show. So I sit down, and we're all in the front. Oh my god, this gets so crazy. Please stay with me. This is like, what even happened tonight? We were all in the front. They were doing their show, and my friend obviously he saved me a seat, which was really nice. And I was kind of in the middle of everyone. It was my friend, and then he had a new person on his right, and then on my left was a new person, and then someone I knew on the left of that person. We went to WEO once, and we're on the front, which if you're at a comedy show or whatever, I guess this is sketches, but you know never to sit in the front because you will always be picked on. And I'm foreshadowing, get ready. Oh my god. So let me just tell you what the show was. It was two guys, and they're gay guys, and I forget what it was called, but being gay guys was like in the title, and they're just making sketches of what it's like being gay, I guess. So the first thing they open up with, which I thought was hilarious, is if you ever go to AMC, the opening is Nicole Kidman sitting. You have to have seen it, even if you're not AMC. There's this meme, like there's a video for an ad for AMC that Nicole Kidman is in that they play every time before a movie in AMC theaters, and it's her literally being like walking up through the seats and being like, "Oh, movies," and like, "This is like magical, and there's no place like this," and she's like, "Here, I feel like I can disappear," something like that. It's very cheesy, but it's so good. It is so good. They open up with that playing in front of us, and then they're like sitting on stage in front of us, and they're just they're like, "Oh yeah, you go queen, you go." It's very funny, because I'm like that in theaters. I'm not saying go queen, but I'm like, I cheer. When I see it, I go, "Whoa," and when it ends, I start clapping. Don't care if no one joins me. People usually do join me though. And yeah, so they did that. They also did a sketch about two gay boys and like a common friend, and them being like, I'm supposed to be the classic gay person, screw you, like, and they keep one out of each other. I was like, well, I was there for her high school dumping, and I was there for like Hapa where she got really blah blah blah, really ridiculous. Then they had a few other things. The best things is they actually had some TikTok, so they would, between the sketches, the lights would dim, and then they would play a video so they could get ready for the other one, the next sketch, but the videos were in vertical form. And I don't know if you've ever seen them. I'm in the queer community, so I see them a lot, but if you're straight, you also might see these. I don't know, do you ever see those interview videos? Where it's like, what's her name? And it's like, slap or kiss, or like they're gonna interview a different person, they slap or kiss, or they go, they do any of those videos. They're like, "Who are you?" And they were just making parodies where they were like, one was like a slap or kiss, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't know," and then he was like, "Well, this is actually," one of the guys was like, "Well, that this is actually really rude for gay culture, because it really like helps the far right like stereotype gay people," and like then it's a close up of the guy getting interviewed, be like, he's like, and then the commenter is basically rambling for like a minute about being like, he's like, "Well, yeah, you agree, right?" And like and then the guy getting interviewed, it's like, his answer is slay. And then just ends, which I thought was really funny. So it's like him giving commentary, like social commentary on the interview, and the guy just being like, slay. He's like, I don't know what to say. There's also one where he's like, in another video, he was like, "Oh, is there anything you wouldn't tell your mom or whatever?" And then like he's like, "Yeah, like I like KILLED a kid." And then we like zoom in, and he's like, "Yeah, back in high school, I ran over this lump, and then I got out of the car and I realized was. It wasn't a lump, thank God. It was just a lump. And so then I went in the party and I got mad and I went to like the neighbor's house and I just K-I-L-L-E-D a neighbor. That's like, you had to be there. But yeah, I thought it was really funny. This is what gets crazy. Ready, y'all? They had one segment, and it was just so funny. When I was driving to this place, I was so riled up that I was so late that I was like, none of this matters. Whatever happens, happens. So it's cool that I got there, I got to watch. But I was in that mindset. They had a segment called feminine monologues, like, not the word crazy, but like emotional feminine monologues or whatever. And then the skit was each one of them would recite a monologue from a movie. So we had Hereditary, where the mom is, yelling at the son, being like, if only, like, you don't want to talk about it, but if you talked about it, it would bring us closer. We had that. We had one from Devil's Wear Prada, one from Mongolia, or whatever. And it was really funny. The light would change and they get like really serious, and then they just repeat the monologue, and you would recognize it. Well, guess what? And hopefully this, this is supposed to be relaxing. Hopefully this doesn't give you anxiety. I was fine with it, but they basically called out into the audience. They were like, "Okay, now who has a monologue? Who wants to go?" And when that happens, where you're like, oh, there's like someone in it that's gonna come up. They're like, nope, we have no one in the eyes. That like is a stand-in, or like a placebo, or like placed in to like stand up, right? So what happens? My friend starts poking at me and is like, you should do it, you should do it. I go, no. But then the host sees it and he goes, how about you? How about you? He points at me and he pulls me onto stage, and next thing you know, I'm on stage in front of this entire crowd. Mind you, I was late to the show, and I made the show a bit earlier, and they were like, here, and I was like, I don't have anything. They're like, here, we have a monologue for you. So they gave me a sheet, and there's a monologue, and they were like, read it, and I was like, okay. And so I started reading it, performing it, and they'd be like, okay, louder, and then they would be like, okay, add bitch at the end of the line, and they were like, now get on your knees and start crying, and it was really fun. I just did it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make myself a fool of myself, and it was fun. I went to acting school, and I used to, like, I haven't acted for a bit, but I used to do acting scenes at an acting school, and that would make me nervous, but this, I was just kind of like, which was really cool. Like, school was just really fun. I was like, none of this matters, and I got the audience to laugh, which was fun, and yeah, it was the monologue from Tyra. So there's America's Next Top Model, where it's like, we all believed in you, we all believed, like, and you know that meme where it's Tyra being like, how dare you, we are all rooting for you. It was that monologue. So imagine me saying that in front of like 30 people in the audience, not prepared, and I did it. I said, and I went, scene. It's like, scene. And then I had a pride flag or whatever, I was waving it, and then I walked back to my seat and they all cheered. And yeah, so that happened. And I don't know if you've ever been chosen, but like after that happens, you have like adrenaline. So I was like, couldn't really calm down. I was like, whoa, that just happened. But it was really fun. And then after that, it only lasted like 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes for the show. They started singing a musical. We all started dancing, and that was the end of it. And it was just lovely. And we all exited, and then we went to actually go get some drinks at the bar next door. And it was actually really fun. I sat down at the bar, and I was the first one to sit down. I was telling myself, like, I guess I fuck. Like, I was like, this will be what it'll be. I don't know about you, but I usually like wait for people to sit down, so I know I'm not at the end. But it was cool. I sat down, and people started sitting to my left, and I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll be at the end. And then this boy sat on my right. And so I wasn't alone, and he was part of the group, and I started chatting with him, and I thought he was cute. But I think he has a boyfriend, but it felt, it was cool. Like, I don't know about you, if you're in your 20s, or if you're, in this phase of life where you're trying to make friends or romantic relationships, but it felt like a day where we were next to each other, but I knew we were just meeting as friends, so I felt like I actually didn't have to really impress him, which was cool. I just was like, if I like you, I like you. If I don't, whatever, and usually when I'm on a date, I try and like be really perfect, and I try to be very much like, does he like me, or does she like me, and all this stuff, and that was what was nice, is like, I kind of cared, but then I was like, Nick, you don't have to act like you care, and it freed me up a lot, because I feel like what I realized is when I do that, it allows me to like connect with the person more, because then they're like, oh, like, I need to ask questions. It allows like moments of silence, give some time to think. If you're always like trying to fill the space with talking, like, you're really rarely ever gonna be talking about good stuff. So yeah, and we talked, we drank a beer, he had a margarita that we had around too, and then we talked to my other friends as well, and it was just very lovely. It was cool. The guy I was talking to, he's all into music, and he was just talking about fame, and oh, he really wants to get recognized and well known, and just to have his moments. And this could be a little bit of a ramble. I don't know if you relate. If you have any of this, please let me know in the comments. I always love to hear from you. But he was saying how he really feels like it's time for him, and how he just hates how everyone's telling him how much he has to work hard. And he's like, I already am working hard. But I just kept thinking, like, I don't think I want that. I want my moment. Maybe you do too, if you're in the arts. Like, I would love to get recognized and to have my, I do movies or screen. I love to be recognized and that to be what I'm known for, but also, like, I don't want to have to prove myself to people. I don't want to have to. He's in such a grind. Like, I'm like, art isn't meant to be like that. For me right now, and I'm kind of realizing, wait a minute, if I don't agree with that, like, side note, obviously Nick can change his mind and you can change your mind, but like off the bat, I was like, I don't really want that set up. It made me realize, like, okay, well, if he does it as a living, then, and if I don't really want that, then it's like, is it more of a hobby, or do I do it like do I make a film and make art periodically throughout my life, and I live my life differently? I don't know. So I thought that was very interesting. I don't need to know the answer. I don't have an answer. I just kind of reacted to that in a way of like, this dude needs a break. And I told him, I was like, you need a break. You sound worn out and everything. He's like, I agree. It's so good to take breaks, because it really cleanses you, and it's good to make sure you're doing things for the right intentions versus not. And sometimes you can get muffled with all the exterior noise. I'm talking about like social media, what your friends think, parents think. And one day you're gonna wake up and be like, am I doing this even for myself? So if you feel overwhelmed, rest, don't quit. It's hard. It's like, think of it as running. It's hard to continue running, even if you have the best stamina. Like, imagine running forever. That's whatever you're going through with art or work or relationships. You can't run forever. You're gonna need to take a water break. You're gonna need to lay down, take a week off. That's okay. Okay, so do that for yourself. Make sure you take a break. Take a break, take a break, take a break, take a break. Because you need to. It's crazy not to. It's just unreasonable. But he needs that. But it was just interesting, It's just something I'm thinking about. So yeah, we drank, and then I came home. I drove home. I was fine. I drank some water, and I was okay to do that. And then I'm here with you now. So yeah, it was fun. I really liked it. I saw this quote. I'm just gonna share something before we say goodbye, but my friend who worked on flowers with me, he actually shared with me a photo. His grandpa passed away, and when they were going through his house, they found some letters that his grandpa had written, and we don't know when they were written, but they were takeaways of life, some rules, advice, and one of them was to show that you care. Live life in a way that you show that you care. And I took that to heart. And so this week, and it's not an intention yet, every Sunday we set an intention. Join our channel, join that mental health cleansing and practice. It changes my life. I hope it changes yours. Maybe that'll be a new one, but showing I care is something I'm trying to really lean into. So I say that because making time for friends, showing up, and not putting on a armor of like, I want you to think I'm cool. Because there's this thing sometimes where showing of caring can feel like it's kind of lame. It's not very cool, always. But it's important to do it, to really like lean in and love things. I think is something I really want to get better at doing. So that's just a little ramble from me. I hope you found it enjoyable and most of all relaxing. Let me know your thoughts. Please, if you enjoy this content, support it by liking and subscribing, and most of all, if you really want to support the channel, consider joining the membership, because it means the world to me. Oh my god, that is I think my life mission right now is to grow that, to create a community, and it's a community of lovely people where we're all gonna support each other as we go through life. Think of friends, and it's just gonna be a foundation for you to become your best self, to live and support others, and most of all, get more intimate access to me. It's the price of a coffee, and it means the world for me. It helps me make these videos and sustain this channel, so just think about it. But no pressure, it's always going to be there if you want it.